in the 71st running of the Derby. And welcome everybody to Assiniboia Downs for day 16 on your racing calendar. A scorcher here in Winnipeg, 32 degrees Celsius right now and not much wind, so it is going to be tiring on the ponies today. And quick look back at last Wednesday's racing action. Who was hot? Well, Tom Gardapi Jr. was. He ended up getting the hat trick. Marvin Buffalo right behind him had 2 wins, including a $55 shocker in the Frank Arneson, a first-time starter, Honor Rules, who we're going to see much more of and expect a lot more wins out of that very talented horse. And Stanley Chady Jr. was the top jockey with 2 wins, but Antonio Whitehall is still on top in the jockey standings, and on the top of the trainer standings, Jerry Gorno is leading the way. Some 7 up on Tom Gardapi Jr. after that hat trick. Well, what did you guys see on Wednesday?
Right, Kurt, you kind of mentioned about the big payoffs. If you listen, many of those races, we talked about some vulnerable favorites. Marshall picked out some key points you got to watch out for. So when you're playing the races, you hear those vulnerable favorites, you got to start looking for those prices. And other races, just take your stands, and then that opens it up to take your shots. So today I've got some favorites, and boy, do I have some long shots you guys are going to question. But I've got rules.
Okay, you're only going to question them if they run really badly. But if they run well, all the roses to you. We kick off ASD Live with a $5,000 claimer for maidens, 5,000, 3 and up, that are going to go 7.5 furlongs. Marshall, you start us off in here.
Okay, sounds good. Summer has definitely arrived in Winnipeg in full force, and like you said, it is an absolute scorcher. You want to pay attention to the horses in the paddock every race. Some horses like the heat, some horses don't, obviously, same as people. This is a pretty tough card in my estimates. I like to start any race analysis by trying to figure out the race shape. I had a tough time doing that in here. I think the 2, Mr. Witt, is the speed of the race. The horse is stretching out. Looks to me like, should go to the lead. Has a workout. The speed figures, though, are below par. So I don't have a lot of confidence in this horse. Sir Yarnelton, I think it's like a job I have here to speak about him. I talk about him every time. I've bet him many times. He's faced tougher. He should have probably won already. He's 0 for 16, but I got to give him one more shot here. 3rd start, he was wide in his last race. Neville Stevenson out of the 1 hole, going 7.5 furlongs. I think he could even take him to the lead if he wants to. Neville Stevenson's a good out of the gate rider, can show speed on this horse. So again, it's tricky. I think the other contenders are the 5 and the 6. The 5 with the trainer jockey combo. Whitehill for Gorno, and of course the 6 racing at Tampa Bay last year. Ran a good start, has a work. This is a pretty tough race, Kurt. I landed on the 1-5-2.
All right, over to you, Stretch.
Interesting. So on the 2 horses, a couple things. Take a look at the horse that finished 3rd, Peyton's Prince. That horse yesterday raced at Century Mile in Alberta and was in the 12 hole and actually cleared. There was a lot of speed. I thought that $5,000 maiden race was actually tougher than the other 5,000 races recently. And so because of that, I do like the 2. I do think the horse is going to the lead. That's the type of horses that do win these maiden races. So got to watch out. The 12 yesterday that Peyton's Prince and looked really good against a tougher field than this. So I think the 2's going gate to wire. I'm with you on the 1 horse. He's gonna, if the 2 can't get the distance, the 1 probably wins. I do like the 2 to try and beat the 1 because the price will be so low. And also the 6 coming from Tampa. There's some races in there that aren't as bad as they look. So I've got it at 2-1-6.
Yeah, I see a little bit of pace in here. I see Mr. Wick going out, but the other one also, Paddle Wheel, possesses early speed. And the way Stars in the Park ran last time out, only 4 lengths off it with the Fiddler's Green, Texas Wit, and Moon Fever. I think Stars in the Park might be engaged in that pace. And if Sir Yarnelton does it, they take the blinkers off today. Maybe that'll change Sir Yarnelton. And if it shows speed, well, I got to look for a closer in here. So I settled on number 3, Finally Famous. Throughout the first race was an absolute terrible one, going the 5 furlongs, beaten by 10. But that was against It's All on Slew, and Peyton's Prince was in there also. The comeback race sat way back, but gained a lot of ground down the lane and only lost second money running 6 by a couple of lengths. This horse begs for distance. If you look at those races down in Hastings Park, was bet down as the favorite, ran a good running style, wasn't really off of it, seemed to run even, and that's the kind of horse I like to see. So I think Finally Famous with Tom Gardepy and Stanley, both of them, the hot ones coming from Wednesday, I think we're gonna get good odds, and both of them don't like it right beside me there. So I think we're gonna get about 5-6 to 1 today. And with Tom Gardepy, I think he's going to be really revving up in the next couple of weeks in the win columns, trying to catch Jerry Gorno or at least keep pace with them. I think this is a great play today. I do also like Sir Yarnelton. Having the rail going 7.5 is definitely a huge advantage. And Stars in the Park, those Tampa races, even though beaten by double digits, these horses would get trounced in there also. So I expect much better out of Stars in the Park. I like 3, 1, and 6. Now we're going to carry on to race number 2, kicking off jackpot pick 5 wagering with a carryover of just over $392,000. Stretch off. Let's say Kayla Pizarro is off all her mounts this evening, and she will be off all her mounts this week. So you want to put that in the back of your head when you're doing your handicapping into tonight's card or the next couple of days. We'll definitely remind you. Sorry, Stretch, take it away.
No, that's good information. Okay, as you mentioned, the pick 5 is probably going to be at least 450 with an outside shot at $500,000 today. Just of note, you can mark this down. If it doesn't go this week, we are having a mandatory payout on July 6th. So watch out. I'm going to try to scoop it before then. I don't like to share these big pools, so we're going to go from there. We're going to cap 2 races here kind of at the same time, watching a replay. I've got a great replay, so get your pens, paper ready to follow along. Before we show the video, I'm just going to mention so you know who everybody is. Persistent is the 1 in the video. Desposito is the 6. And the other horse that's not in this race is Mormo for me is the 3. So if we can go to the video, you're going to see the 1 horse right at the start. Here we go, highlighted. It's going to break a few steps slow. Behind there, the other horse in here to pay attention to is the 6. He races quite wide throughout. May not seem like much, but that just tells me he can improve. So we're coming around the turn. The 3 horses stalking, which is more motive for me. As you can see, he clearly can stalk the speed and take over. Watch out for the 1 right there. Great work by the production crew. And watch how he's closing. Remember, he spotted the field a bunch of lengths. He's getting to the horse that's in second that went on in a stake race and ran a really good race and finished up strong. So I think that is a key race. So what comes out of that race? We learned that Mormo for me can stalk. Remember that for the 4th race. The 2 had a bit of a trouble trip. What we did miss a little bit in the video is he did check on the turn. That slowed him down, his momentum. May have even got second in that race. And the 6 out for basically a tightener, raced so wide that it's going to certainly improve. The only horse I'm going to mention outside of that is the number 4, Happy, who certainly can improve. Be careful on the running lines. It looks like the horse was gaining on the winner. The winner of that race, Byall, was basically shutting the horse down at the 8th pole, basically on an absolute gallop. So it was a good race, but the horse really wasn't closing on that. So my horses in this race are going to be 2, 4, 3.
Okay, Statsman Marshall, your turn.
Okay, I'll tell you a bit about the firsters in here. The 1 horse Christmas Dance. This is a horse that was entered on June the 8th, but had to scratch out of that race, unfortunately. I did make a note to watch for that horse to come back. We see a work subsequent to that scratch on the 8th It's not exactly as good of a work as some of the previous ones. So that's a bit of a red flag. But the breeding here, well, that's just nothing but top notch. Christmas Lights is the dam. She's produced 12 other starters, all of which have raced. And what's really interesting, though, is that of the 7 other females in the family, 5 of the 7 have won over $100,000 each. So there are some significant runners in this family pedigree. I have to use this horse. Certainly, there could be a bit of a fitness issue, but just on pedigree alone, this is my top choice. On the other side of the post positions, the 6 horse, the other firster, actually just the first foal, so there's nothing to go on here. But I do like the other horses Glenn mentioned, so for me, 1, 4, and 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty well with you guys on the 3 horses. I love the way Persistent ran last time out. There's been a lot of these horses that shown lots of late interest. And I've been following these horses even back over to Century Mile in Edmonton, and they've been running lights out. And this is one of them. Persistent is my best bet of the day off of that. Happy, the 4 horse could get the lead, and it could be favoring speed today. And I think that's how Happy gets it done. But I think Christmas Dance also has speed, just judging by those workouts. Persistent gets out of the gate. It won't be going to the front. It will be a stalker. As you've seen on the video, it likes to sit back and run. But I have it down to these 3 with Persistent getting the nod in the end. Now we carry on to race number 3, kicking off $25,000 guaranteed pick 4 wagering. We have a $5,000 claimer for fillies and mares 3 and up that are non-4 lifers. And Marshall, who do you like in this one?
So I think it's a pretty good race to kick off the pick 4. The pick 4s lately, they've definitely been gettable, but they've been tricky. You just have to find that one leg, or in some cases 2 legs, I guess, but where there's going to be that long shot. But I don't think this is necessarily the race where we're going to see that. From a race shape standpoint, to me it looks like there's a duel here between the 2 and the 3. The 2 was a scratch last time, I believe, at the gate, Kurt. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was. Had a little boogaloo in the gate and had to be scratched.
Okay, so that horse, the only thing on that horse, though, making her first start of the year, but this is a non-winners of 4 lifetime condition, and the 2 Speedy Miss is eligible for the non-winners of 3 lifetime condition. So these are tougher horses she'll be facing in here today, and I do think the 3 could duel with her. Now the 1 Ebony Knights, this horse pretty much ran a great race, actually did win this condition last out and is still eligible, so I see no reason why Ebony Knights can't come back and win this race again. She raced with the 4 Dolly Dagger. Dolly Dagger had an absolute dream trip, saved ground, and then came up the rail, whereas Ebony Knights was on the outside, wide, and then basically wide in the stretch. So I thought of the 2, the 1 ran the superior race. I like 1, 4, and 5 in the 3rd.
Okay, what about you, Stretch?
Okay, basically the same as Marshall. I absolutely nailed it on the 4 on a dream trip. The 1 sat so close. That was the horse that I did like, and then even though it was out of condition, so I've got to like it again. The only way that the 1 may struggle a little bit is if the 2 doesn't press the 3 enough. So I've always got to watch. The 3 got in an absolute duel last time. If the 3 can last a little bit longer, maybe an upset. I do like the 1 the best, but if the 2 can't press the 3 long enough, maybe can steal. That's the only one I think can get away on the 1, but even then the 1 was sitting so close. I'm going to try to beat the 4 in the exactor, and that'll be the 7, just because I think that horse is going to be a price, is going to sit relatively close. If there isn't a big duel, maybe can run evenly. If there is a big duel, then you might have to consider Wit 7, the 5, but I've got it 1, 3, 7.
Yeah, I like all your selections in here. Dolly Dagger, the 4 horse, will run on Lasix today. Number 3, Hurricane Emily, equipment change. They're taking the tongue tie off. But in all saying that, I agree with the 2 and the 3 hooking up on the front end. Yes, the 2 horses out of condition, but we've seen it a couple other times. These non-3 lifers running in the non-4 and running well. So I expect Speedy Miss to take a lot of sting out of Hurricane Emily. Ebony Knights and Dolly Dagger sitting about the same, trying to make a kick. but I like Wit 7. Last time these guys met, this horse was in a different time zone at the back of the field, but came with a flurry down the lane, only to lose by a couple to the stablemate, number 1 Ebony Knights. Then next time, Nyrone Austin hopped on the horse and made no mistakes, sat dead last again at the half a mile. But the way this horse circled the field and won so impressively, I had to put that down. I said next time out, I don't care what this horse is against, it's loving our racetrack. Put 2 good races together. Sure, it's running back 3 weeks in a row, but Wit 7 was visually impressive to me. I think it'll run down Ebony Knights and Dolly Dagger, who will make their move probably around the head of the lane. And Wit 7 comes flying in the end. Number 7, Elsie's Parade, did have a dream trip on the rail, getting the win last time. I don't expect it to have that dream trip. Ebony Knights will take that spot. Elsie's Parade will probably be 3 wide. And you see that jockey Antonio Whitehall jump ship to number 1, Ebony Knights, as Raphael goes to Elsie's Parade. They just switched horses in here, but I think both of them are live. But I'm going for Wit 7. I'm taking 5, 1, and 4. Now we're going to carry on to race number 4. This is an allowance, non-2 lifetime event for fillies and mares 3 and up. They're going to go 6 furlongs. Number 1, Sweet Design. The jockey will be Shannon Beauregard. And number 5, Be Amazing, will be Richard Mangley, not Navin. And Stretch, you're going to lead this one off.
Okay, we've already talked about Mormo for me. We saw it on the replay. We realize that horse now, with the good training by Shelley Brown, that the horse can now be a stalking trip. So if that's the case, which I think it is, watch out. There is so much other speed in here that it just literally sets up for this horse. I don't know if anybody in the field can get loose. So I've talked enough about the 4, obviously a top play. So I'm trying to find, can somebody get loose? Maybe the 7 horse. I think it's the classiest speed. 2 starts ago, basically won under wraps. It shows it only won by a couple lengths. It won by far more than that. Then went into the stake race, raced against some bears in there. If it could clear, maybe. I don't think so, but that's my second choice because it'll put away the speed. The 1 horse could have been, the filly could have been my second choice. It sets it up nicely, stalking trip. I don't believe it can beat the 4. It's just not been any activity in 4 weeks. So it likes to finish in the money, just save ground, pick up the pieces late, and go from there. I will add 1 horse that I'm not going to use today, but I am going to watch for the future. The 5 horse, first lifetime start, was a great effort, huge effort. That effort must be in there somewhere. Last time lost a jockey, so you throw it out. I usually won't take a horse after it throws the jockey, give it 1. I'm hoping the horse gets in the duel and run well enough, but set it up for a nice price next time. So my selections are 4, 7, 1.
Okay, Marshall, what about you?
I think that the race probably goes the same. I have a similar opinion rather to Stretch. I see the outside speed horses as likely, they're being a likely duel in there basically. I do think there's an outside shot that the 7 is the speed of the speed, but still he'll have to clear. I just don't know, and the 5 is the unknown. The 6 also talked about the 1, no work or no activity in 28 days. Same thing for the 6. But still could show speed for a half mile and cost the 7 the race. The 4 will be the huge favorite, same as last time. Maybe not as big a favorite as last time, but I will definitely use the 7 in some multiple wagers just to take a shot on beating him. And the 1, Sweet Design, yeah, this horse likes to finish in the money, 9 out of 10. Really likes to finish 3rd. I could see this horse finishing 3rd again. I'll go 4, 7, 1.
Yeah, I see a cutthroat speed duel in here. Gold Diggin' Darlin' the 6. Number 7, By All, both the same running style. Give me the front end. I'll go as far as I can. Come and catch me. And it's going to be a tougher for By All as it goes against older horses today. And Gold Diggin' Darlin' is no slouch. Ran a really good race last time. Was beaten by Witt's Data Link, who ran well in the Chantilly. You see, ran 3rd in there, beating By All. And even Sweet Design tried to get up and get a piece of it. But I think these 2 are just going to go bang heads every step of the way as long as they both get out of the gate. Racing luck will say if they both do, but I see the battle being there. Be Amazing with a little bit of stalking speed or speed. Divine Ride with stalking speed. 60 Shades of Blue, also stalking speed. Mormo for me and Sweet Design, the only ones that are showing off the pace ability. I think that's valuable in here, and I got it down to just those two horses. I like 4, 1, and 6. Now we're going to carry on to race number 5, kicking off late double wagering for this $5,000 claimer for fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and up that are maidens, and they're going to go 6 furlongs. Marshall, who do you like in this one?
I don't like anybody in this one. This is a tough race. I honestly, I would need 5 horses in here, and I would still feel like I don't necessarily have the winner. This is like one of our handicapping friends likes to call a potential chaos race. For me, you've got the 1 Holly Hannah dropping from maiden special weight. Hasn't worked. They're adding blinkers. 3rd start. Could go to the lead. Could show improvement. Who knows? The 2, I will tell you, this horse will be one of the favorites in here. Maybe not the favorite, but Rascal Star. This is a bit of a negative drop for me. Maiden 12-5 last time against the boys. No work in 26 days, though. Again, it's just a red flag for me. This horse could definitely show improvement, though. Will be one of the contenders. You've got Mummy Wit, 2 races back, ran a really good race at this same level. You've got Whitehall replaces Antino Jr. I think this is a contender. The 5 coming from Golden Gate. I could go on and on here. Bottom line is I landed on the 3, 2, 5.
So what you're saying is all.
Yeah, all.
Okay, over to you, Stretch.
All right. Well, I'm looking at your guys' selection, and you have not picked the actual winner of the race. The 9 horse, I've got a few angles here. This horse broke sharp last time out, and now kind of dropped back and then ran evenly, a little wide. I really like the blinker change. I think it's absolutely the right call. I've watched this horse run at Fawner. Seems to like to get in trouble a little bit. Stays out of trouble, might be a little wide. Can certainly take over late. It's 12-1 morning line bomber. It's easily my bomber of the day. As they're looking for long shots, well, they've got the favorites up there. So I'm giving you the 12-1. So I think you need to use this horse. The 3 is my second choice. Same trainer. I agree with what Marshall was saying there. The 2 horse would have been my top pick, except that it hasn't had a lot of activity, just like that. There was also a vet scratch before the June 3rd race. So it did get to the races, ran a nice race, doesn't have any activity, so there's a bit of a red flag there. So I like Marshall says, he's all over the place, but I'm just going to go with the 9-3-2, take my 12-1 odds, and move on.
All right, I think Très Magnifique will run a good race in here, but will be well over bet, just like it was last time out. And Lauren's Little Star ended up running by late down the lane, but Très Magnifique did try and keep up with Lauren's Little Star, and that's what I liked about Très Magnifique, but I don't think it's going to have a loose lead in here, which it would like. Maxima Only, interesting invader, like you said, coming from Golden Gate. But the horse I settled on was number 2, Rascal Star. Let's just cross out those 4 races from last year. Don't even look at those. If you throw those ones out, this horse went off at 44-1 last time out, where Levante was the big favorite, didn't disappoint. And being within 5 lengths of Levante, a lot of these horses definitely wouldn't be. The horse that ran second, Victory Shadow, went over to Century Downs in a maiden race there. The result, lost by a photo. Ran a really good second in there. Had no respect because it had ran against Rascal Star in all those bad races at Century last year. I think this is a different horse. I think it's just matured from the 3 to 4-year-old campaign. It was that close to Levante, has a nice stalking running style. The numbers and the pace of the race is just 3 seconds faster they went than a lot of these other ones. Sure, it was different days and everything, but this horse was competitive that day, that exact same race. This horse will go to the winner's circle, and you're going to get 5-1. I also like Très Magnifique, as I said, to stick around for a piece, and Maxima Only, Golden Gate. a horse that's gone off at 100 to 1 and 80 to 1 in its last 2 starts, but did show speed, went on turf and poly, now back to the dirt, has a decent work coming in, and that's good enough for these 49 for a half mile. I say it's a wide open race also, so I'm taking a shot. Rascal Star, Maxima only, with Très Magnifique. Okay, now we're going to round off the card with the Jackpot Super High 5, the carryover. Just under $55,000 for this $2,500 claimer for 3-year-olds and up that are non-winners of the year. There was a late scratch that was handed to me. Scratch number 3, Gavin. Number 6, Scrap Iron. Make the jockey Richard Mangley. Okay, Stretch, start us off.
Okay, thank you for that information, Kurt. 2 seconds before I'm going to speak.
No problem, buddy.
I was going to start by saying it's a tough race to close it out. The most likely winner on paper was going to be the 3, but I was also going to finish it up by saying I'm certainly not keying this horse and clearly making the right decision, not that I can key it anyway. So we're going to change it up just a little bit. I've got three horses that I think have a shot. I'm simply going to go by the numerical order, not because it's a mix. You'll see as I make my bet, I'll be boxing these horses. So we're going to start on the 2 horse, Zach Ridge Road. Has run at the distance before, showed a bit of brief speed last time, has the back class, has basically every right to improve. Races last year do make him a winner, and you're going to see that's kind of the angle I'm looking at, which horses have shown the talent to win this race. So that's one of them. The next one I was going to go to was the 6 horse, was at 30 to 1. Yes, Marshall, the 6, as he's looking at his paper. Are you sure you mean the 6? Yes, Marshall, I mean the 6. So a couple things there. We've got Tarn Garnapi. So you're going to give him 30 to 1 on any of his horses. I'll take a top trainer at that time at any for sure. He has a work coming in. Throw out his last 2 races. He's obviously got the horse over the winter. I realize he was with the top trainer when the horse won a couple races. Maybe we can't get him back to that level, but even close makes this horse a contender. And I realize there's no chance now at 30 to 1, maybe a 10 or 12 to 1, somewhere around there. Another one I'm going to mention, and the last one is the 8, Cash Pilot. Very good record if you look back at ASD, 5 of 7 in the money. If there is a bit of a duel, horse has a shot. Again, 8 to 1, it won't be 8 to 1. You've got to make note when the favorite gets scratched. Understand the morning lines are going to be completely out of whack. You can drop them maybe as much as in half. So again, horse didn't look great at Turf Paradise, some of those races, but if you scale it back at the ASD races, you go from there. Obviously searching, so my new picks are going to be 2, 6, 8.
All right, over to you, Marshall.
Yeah, I like Stretch's picks, actually. A couple of additional notes. The 2, Zach Ridge Road, that's actually my favorite horse in here. Thought he ran evenly. There's just tons of back class. The horse has every right to improve, stretching out. And it's also dropping in from 5,000 to 2,500. So that's a pretty sizable drop. There's definitely class relief there. For me, I was trying to figure out from a race shape perspective who's going to the lead in here, and I landed on the 9, Honor Road. Stretching out, has shown the ability to win at a distance. So that's my potential long shot. Well, maybe a mid range shot. I do think this horse, if he gets loose, could wire the field. 3rd start, declined 2nd out, but I thought ran a pretty good race, or did run a good race 1st out. So we get Rafael Zentino Jr. back tonight, and I think we could see a big performance. I'll leave it at those 2. I had 2, 3, 9, but I'll just leave it at 2, 9.
All right, you guys didn't touch on my horse that I absolutely love in here. Medieval Medicine for Jerry Gorno, Antonio Whitehall. This horse was smoking down the lane and ran out of ground, and I think it'll really appreciate the distance. I see number 7, In Excess of Reality, going to the front. Number 9, Honor Road. Zach Ridge Road won't be far. And Brouillard, not sure what he's going to do. Sometimes he goes to the front, sometimes he comes off it. But I think there is going to be pace in here. And that's going to bode very well for the 5, Medieval Medicine. If a Nair was in here, has won the last 2 races convincingly, looks absolutely awesome. So losing to an Iyer was no bad feat. Disco Cat was one of the favorites in the race, and it only lost by a neck as Disco Cat was tiring from being on the pace. But this thing was smoking, and I think it's going to do it again. So that's going to be my top pick to go with Cash Pilot and Zach Ridge Road. I'm going to take 5, 8, and 2. Good luck with all your bets this evening, and we'll be right back after the changes on this evening's Carter Racing.